Boker Tov, everyone. Good morning. It's good to be with you. This morning, let us begin with a prayer thanking God for returning our souls to us, a prayer to God for the breath of life that we are blessed to feel and have go through us each moment. Elohai Neshama. Elohai, Elohai Neshama. This morning, we have moved our way through the Omer, from waking up to the realities of our world to setting out on a new journey, from altering the wilderness to being in the unknown and trying to figure out our way. This week is focused on becoming the vision. And of course, there's lots of different ways to interpret that and to think through that. What is the vision? What is the legacy that we wish to live? What is the vision that we have for ourselves in the future? Before we go into a teaching today, let us say together the blessing for this day of the Omer. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sefirat haomer. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who sanctifies us with mitzvot and commands us concerning the counting of the Omer. Hayom shiva u'shloshim yom shehem chamisha shavuot u'shnei yamim la'omer. Today is 37 days, which is 5 weeks and 2 days of the Omer. And I want to welcome all of you who are here this morning. Don and Donnie, so good to see you both. Jay, joining us from the gym again, how lovely. Pat, good to see you. Diane and Tina, wonderful to have you here. Hannah and Sarah, Michelle and Barbara, so glad that you are present this morning. Tom and Bonnie, Carrie and Eve, thank you for being a part of this. And Rabbi Catherine and Susan, it's such a blessing to be able to count these days of the Omer with all of you. So, there we go. So we are going to be focused today on the story of the scouts coming out of Israel. There were 12 scouts, as we talked about yesterday, who were sent into the land of Israel in order to figure out what it was like. What were the fruits like? What kind of blessings did it have? And what kind of threats? What do the people maybe need to prepare themselves for? And as we discussed yesterday, there were these 10 scouts who came out and said, oh, the people there are like giants. We were like grasshoppers. We are too afraid to enter. We are too afraid to go into the promised land. But there were 2 scouts, the other 2 scouts, Caleb and Joshua. And these scouts had a different perspective. And Joshua, son of Nun, and Caleb, son of Jephunneh, of those who had scouted the land, rent their clothes, meaning they tore their clothes from a place of despair because the people were wailing, they were screaming, they were crying at the report of the 10 spies who had told them that this was not a land that they could enter. Joshua and Caleb escorted the whole Israelite community, saying, "The land that we traversed and scouted is an exceedingly good land. If the Eternal is pleased with us, he will bring us into that land, a land that flows with milk and honey, and give it to us. Only you must not rebel against the Eternal. Have no fear then of the people of the country, for they are our prey. Their protection has departed from them. But the Eternal is with us. Have no fear of them." For Joshua and Caleb to have this kind of faith in God and in their future was quite remarkable, but more than that, to be able to stand up in front of an Israelite community that was completely taken by the words of the other 10 spies took incredible strength and courage. And indeed, after these words from Joshua and Caleb, we read, as the whole community threatened to pelt them with stones, the presence of the Eternal appeared in the tent of meeting to all the Israelites. The people were so fearful of this alternative perspective. They were so fearful of taking a step forward that they threatened to pelt Joshua and Caleb with stones. How powerful is that? And yet Joshua and Caleb, they were steadfast in their report, trying to reassure the people that yes, God had sent them on this journey to go to the promised land, and yes, they would arrive there and it would be okay. But in order to get there, the people needed to be ready. And that wasn't an easy feat. We read slightly later in the text, Vavdu, Kalev, Yaakov, Hayita, Ruach, Acharat Imo, Ve'amle, Acharei. But my servant Caleb, because he was imbued with a different spirit and remains loyal to me, him I will bring into the land that he entered. His offspring shall hold it as a possession. Joshua and Caleb end up being the two people of the Israelites, the people who were able to go into the promised land many years later. God determined at this point that the people were not ready. They had more wandering to do. Sometimes our paths are circuitous, but they would eventually get there. But Caleb and Joshua, because of their faith, because of their daringness to envision this promising future, however scary it seemed, were given the reward of being able to step into it. And so the question we might ask today of ourselves is to talk about a time when, despite part of you feeling small, you carried on with your journey. I have no doubt that Caleb and Joshua at this moment in some ways felt small. The entire community had come up against them. And yet they knew what was right in their hearts and they stood up to do it. Where do we find strength to stand up for what is right, for what feels appropriate to us, especially when it is not the majority opinion, especially when it takes courage to do so? Part of being the vision is being able to have that strength to stand up when it's needed. So today, as we do each day, I'd like us to end with the Mishaberach prayer, a prayer for healing for everyone in our community and everyone in our world who is in need of healing of mind, healing of body, and healing of spirit. We're holding in our heart everyone who is mourning, someone who has recently died, everyone who is sick with COVID, everyone who is currently in surgery or who is ill. Anyone who can use this prayer, it is for you. Today we will sing Lisa Levine's Mishaberach. Mishaberach Avoteinu Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov. Mi sheberach imotenu, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, v'Rachel. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well. Bless us with the power of your healing. Bless us with the power of your hope. May our hearts be filled with understanding and strengthened by the power of your love. Bless us with the vision for tomorrow. Help us to reach out to those in pain. May the warmth of friendship ease our sorrow. Give us courage, give us faith, show us the way. Mi sheberach avotenu, mi sheberach imotenu. Hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well. Hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well. I hope everyone has a day filled with blessings. Tonight at 6 p.m., we'll have a Shiva Minyan for Tamar Davidson. And tomorrow we will come right back here for another day of counting the Omer. I look forward to seeing